All right, fastest 15 minutes on the internet, fastest 15 minutes in social media. My name is Judson Powell. Please hit the like button, please hit the subscribe button, and please hit the notification button so you know when I do videos again. All right, anyway, so I want to talk a little bit more now about Oprah Winfrey. And the reason why there's a video that has surfaced of Oprah Winfrey saying that she wishes that she was white. Now remember, I told y'all, I done told y'all, I'm like Monique, I'm like your big brother. I done told you, about these about these women. I almost said the wrong word. Anyway, and I'm about to get on Snoop about that too. But the thing about it is, white supremacy is like this. It is, and a lot of this stuff is from Malcolm X. Okay, Malcolm X said, and I know y'all have seen this on the internet 1,000 times, but white folks will hire one of us to kill one of us so that they don't take the blame. All right, and or white folks will hire one of us to do us in so that they don't have to take the blame, so that they can say it's like black on black crime. What they do is black on black crime. The whole thing about black on black crime is they create the conditions to make it lucrative. So when everybody started dying, in drug wars and all this, the whole the wire syndrome, as I call it, like everybody who used to watch that show, The Wire, and people were killing everybody and this, that, and the other thing, and black people were killing black people, and the same thing that went on when I was a kid in Detroit, and the same thing that's going on in Chicago right now. What I do is I create adverse conditions that make you savage, that make you into a savage. And then even you walk around calling yourself a savage or whatever, or calling yourself hard or this, that, and the other thing. The same thing with gang mentality, fighting each other over turf that y'all don't even own. I can understand if y'all own the projects, but y'all don't even own the project. Y'all are shooting each other up for the projects and for drug territory, still blocks or street corners that you do not have any proprietary interest in, except for the fact that you sell drugs there. All right. So now, with that said, that's why I was trying to tell you, anybody that has $1 billion, Oprah, I think they said Oprah's estimated worth is like $3.2 billion. Well, anybody that has $1 billion, anybody that has $1 billion and is black, all right, they are white supremacists, or they are owned by the white supremacists. And like I've been telling y'all forever, Oprah's agenda was to destroy the black man. It was part of the agenda to destroy the black man. Just like black on black crime, just like throwing drugs and creating the atmosphere in the ghetto. Just like there are no more people in the ghetto or in the hood or whatever you want to call it, selling drugs or doing anything than there are in white neighborhoods. It's just that, but the only difference is that they go in seeking us out and try to exploit it. Believe me, out in the suburbs, I grew up in the suburbs. All right. In the suburbs, there's more drug use and drug abuse. Why? Because they got the money. They can afford it. And half of the people that come into the city to buy drugs come from the suburbs to buy drugs on that street corner. I remember when this was back in the 80s. I can't recall the guy's name, but there was this white guy, and he got killed. He got killed in the hood, and they made a big stink about it, about, how awful it was that people couldn't walk around and be safe and all of this guy. And I believe he got killed in DC on Capitol Hill, somewhere like off of Capitol Hill. Like after you get past a certain point, it turns in, it turns into hood, North Capitol Street or whatever. Well, that's what it was. And so they kept saying how this guy, he was an upstanding citizen. He was great, this, that, and the other thing. They did the autopsy and found out that he was a user of crack cocaine. All right. So that's what I'm trying to say, y'all. It's not that anybody is any more or less, guilty. It's just the fact that they set it up. It's systemic racism. Systemic. It's the system, the way that they set it up and the way that they plan it to make sure that we look more guilty than the other people. It's the same thing that they're doing right now. So that's why I'm getting back on Oprah and Gayle, because they know all of these white men that have been accused of sexual assault, that have been accused of pedophilia, all of these different things that are going on, homosexuality, everything, all of this stuff that's going on. Oprah and Gayle know these people. They got pictures on the internet with them from 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago. So they know these people. So how come you have not set up interviews with these people, or how come you're not doing exposés and documentaries about these people? That's all we're saying. We're not saying that if there is a black man and he has sexually assaulted somebody, yes, he needs to be held accountable just like anybody else. But if you're only going to hold black males accountable, it's the same thing with the drug trade. There were millions of white crackheads, and now all of a sudden, even this use with the opioids and the black tar heroin, all of this stuff. The reason why it's different now, you go to the methadone clinic instead of the jail because the epidemic is white. When Trump first got in office, one of the first things they also did was they appropriated money for methadone because of so many white people that are using heroin and opioids, illegal drugs. The opioids are legal. The black tar heroin is not legal, but the opioids are legal. They can go to their doctor because why? They got good health insurance. So I can go, if I got good health insurance and I don't need I don't need Obamacare or whatever I need, or I don't need Medicaid or Medicare, I can go get drugs. All I got to do is walk in my doctor's office and say, look, I got a little pain here. It's the same thing. The same thing they're doing basically with medical marijuana. The states where they have dispensaries or whatever, you have to get a card before you can get the medical marijuana. All they're doing is going in and saying they have a certain ailment. I got this ailment. Okay, you get a card, you can buy marijuana. Same difference. 6 in one hand, half dozen in the other. But what I'm trying to get at is that all these things are systemic. The black man is villainized and demonized while other races of people are not. And that simply has to stop. It has to cease. This is, and here we go with Oprah. Oprah, and like I keep on telling y'all, her agenda in white supremacy was to break up the black family, was to break up, and it even went against women. It even went against black women. Believe me, this crusade that her and Gayle are on, like about Michael Jackson and about R. Kelly and about Cuba Gooding Jr. and about all of these black men, about, Bill Cosby and everybody else, all the black men, they are attacked for sport. They are attacked for sport. But they are not attacking these white men that are doing the same thing. Matt Lauer, according to the information that was released, Matt Lauer had a button on his desk that locked people in his office, that locked women in his office so that he could sexually assault them. This has never been investigated. It has never come to light. They were like, they fired him and sent him to his house, his multi-million-dollar mansion. The same thing with Harvey Weinstein. Harvey Weinstein is walking around talking, and then when one of them is sick, Bill Cosby is half blind and crippled, and yet still they're making him serve out his 3 to 10 year sentence. And they whenever it's a white man that comes up in front of them, he's too weak and too frail to go to jail. What? Think about all of this stuff that's going on, and it's all one-sided. And Oprah is at the forefront of a lot of it. And once again, what about our president who has 17 sexual assault allegations, and right now the lady is trying to get him to submit his DNA so that she can prove her case? And he's like, he wants to wait and all this kind of stuff. And they're allowing him to do it. Why? Because he's the president. But we all know he's guilty of sin. This is a man who talked about grabbing women by the crotch. I'm using a better word. And they're hoes. And he calls women bitches and hoes. Just, everybody mad at Snoop. Look, the president of the United States calls women bitches and hoes just as much as Snoop does. So what's the difference? What is the difference? And then I do want to get to the Snoop thing, because Snoop is also an agent of white supremacy. Y'all don't think he's standing up there with Martha Stewart because because they love him, do you? No, he is a part of white supremacy. He has money and he has fame because of what? Because he sold out to white supremacy. Calling those women, all of that gangster rap music was designed, is by design. Gangster rap, all of the, and I remember, back in the day, and everybody was like, they were all mad at everybody, for like getting upset with the gangster rappers, right? And they were the ones that led into the culture, the whole bitches and hoes thing. All of that stuff came from the gangster rap culture. When Motown and Philadelphia International and Stax and all those labels were ruling the music business, there wasn't no bitches and hoes. Nobody was taught. Even the early days of hip hop. In the early days of hip hop, guys did not get on records and disrespect women. It was about partying, having fun. I'm a better rapper than you. Our music sounds better than yours, that kind of stuff. Then all of a sudden it morphed into, I got this, I got that. And it became a materialistic, misogynistic type deal. And people kept saying stuff about it. See Dolores Tucker, she had a crusade going against, hey, we need to cut this stuff out because what? It's ruining our neighborhoods. It's ruining our society. It's ruining our people. But everybody put her down. And she would, and in retrospect, even I did. I'm gonna be honest with you because I was into the music. I was a DJ. So being a DJ, I was into the music too. I was like, hey, this stuff is all right. I ain't gonna lie. I rocked that NWA. I rocked that NWA CD until until I couldn't rock it no more. But but there was a 2-point reason for doing that. Point number one was that they were finally saying the stuff that we felt inside all along. And but I disagree with the women part, but the stuff about the police and the stuff about the systemic racism and the stuff about the things that were going on the street, that's what was really happening. But where we got in error was when we did start talking about our women and start talking, because disrespecting our women disrespects our children. You don't get it. When we disrespect our women, we disrespect our children, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And it goes on, it keeps rolling downhill from there. So, and I'm saying I was wrong. I'm admitting to everybody that I was wrong for that as well. But, C. Dolores Tucker was right. She was absolutely 100% right. In retrospect, looking back, yeah, she foresaw the future. She was the prophet. The rest of us, we were just caught up in our Kundalini thing. We were caught up in our lower nature because it felt good. So just realize that all of this stuff, and just realize that Oprah don't love black people. It's like Kanye West. President Bush don't like black people. Neither does Oprah. And her whole job throughout her entire career has been to break up the black family. You don't need your man. You don't need them. You don't need him. You don't need this. You don't need that. And everybody bought into it. Why? Because she's rich. Believe we buy into a lot of stuff just because people have money, and we think money is synonymous with being correct or successful. But a lot of times it really is not. And to look at what's going on now, you can see it. Look at all of the things that are going on because of this whole situation with Kobe Bryant. All of this stuff, this whole thing with Gail and everything like that, and then she's standing out, she's still supporting this man. And I'm sorry, all of that stuff about Gail being pushed under the bus is all BS. I've never seen a reporter or anchor run any type of video that they didn't look at before it ran, so they could have input on it. Would you risk your life and your reputation and your career and everything else with somebody else at the wheel? No, probably not. So we need to understand that all of these things are systemic racism and white supremacy, and it's all by design. Every single bit of it is by design. None of this stuff is just happening, and all of you people walking around talking about, woke people. Well, you need to wake up, because that's what it's all about. They are controlling us through the system. And it always has been that way, and it's going to get worse if we don't wake up. Anyway, like button, subscribe button. Fastest 15 minutes is up. My name is Judson Powell. I love you.